Okay, I thought today was probably worth recording just because I think I learned some things. So we're going to review what I did and how it went, which was not great, actually. Started out pretty well, but all right, so this is the ES, and I'm looking at $786, just kind of to show you where I'm beginning, trying to get it up above 150,000. All right, so this is the 4-hour chart, and you can see that we are kind of slowly trickling upwards, and I have marked out a couple of the highs with the dotted green lines here. Okay, and as we zoom in a little bit, the 1-hour chart, I actually drew in a channel because the last 6 days or so it's been pretty well uptrending and kind of formed highs and lows, but it is staying above the 50 SMA pretty well through here. So I'm thinking uptrending, all right? And I can see why. All right, haven't marked the current Asia range and the London Open yet on this day trading. But the SMA here is, the MACD is turning up, and we do have a red candle. So a little bit of conflicting information there, but I still feel like it's trending up. Okay, so here's my plan. I've gotten to the 15-minute chart here. I think it's going to drop down to the 180 SMA right through here. And then I want to go long when it gets down to that point. So I put in an alert at the bottom of this last drop right through here, this last dip. And that's possible where it may want to struggle to get through. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think it's going to make a drop down to here and then continue up. And that also matches up with the channel that I drew. So I think that's kind of what I'm waiting for. But of course, as I zoom in, I kind of tweak my plan a little bit and maybe take some shorter trades. All right, here I've marked out the Asia high and low. Now, on this page right here, this is the first time that you can really pretty clearly see something that I failed to see. And we'll come back around and look at that. Let's see if you can figure out what it is. Okay, so remember, my thought is that it's going to be dropping, but only down to about here. I don't think it's going to get down to the Asia low, because that's below that channel area, and that's pretty far down there. All right. And 1-minute chart here. It took a rise off of the blue line here, which is acting as a support right now, and that's higher than this low right over here. And so I'm kind of questioning myself now. I'm wondering if maybe it isn't going to be dropping down that far, because remember the alert line that I drew in here was quite a bit above where I thought it was actually going to get down to. And we've taken a pretty decent recovery off of that point. And so, all right, I've drawn in the lines from the Asia high and low right through here. So, and again, I'm missing some vital information here I just didn't see because of my bias for the day, thinking that it's uptrending, and it's not the day that I'm looking at. Maybe that was where I went wrong, because the bias was dictated by 6 days worth of information here, and we're starting a new week today, and each day is kind of its own creature that is going to act independently to a certain extent of the longer term trends. So we want to be very careful in trading. But anyway, all right, my first trade here, I decided to get into looks like a long position here. So I got into a long position almost at the peak of this last move right through here, but I've got a really tight stop in. So not too worried about it. And this is what the news is saying, and it's looking like, let's see, they're telling us that there's going to be a 25 basis point rate cut on Wednesday, and they're kind of implying that the market is heading up. is kind of what I'm reading here. So there is a worry that it may be going, the other direction too. But mostly the information that I'm looking at, the news, is saying that it's going up for the day. So, and not that I really pay a lot of attention to that, because I trade differently. I trade on a much shorter time frame. All right, whoops. Okay, so now we're looking at the 1 minute chart. The MACD really does not look good, and I'm kind of worried about it all. My stop, I have not moved, just sitting right here. It's just a couple ticks below that last low, and it bounced up above that point and made a new high. And so I raised up my stop. I thought, okay, this time I want to take a lot more risk off the table, and I put in my stop right through here. And then I raised it up to break even. So now I'm sitting at a place where I could either make, I don't know how much that is. Let's see, be 100, just shy of $200, or nothing. So that's a good place to be. That's a really good place to be. And I did actually end up lowering that limit a couple times, and then when it hesitated right through here, I decided I'm just gonna get out. And I don't really regret that. It kind of flattened out right through here and didn't get up any further. So I made like $75 on the first trade, which was very, very small, and it was very conservative. But with the actions that I'm seeing right through here, I decided that probably it wasn't going to get up that far anymore. And so now I got into a short because I figured it had peaked out. I don't think it's going to get above this point, so I put my stop in up there, which, as you can see, is super tight. And I'm only expecting a very small move. And I put it in the volume profile right at the London Open, stretched all the way to the current. And it was kind of interesting to me that the point of control is right here. It's quite a bit higher than that. So that's where I put my limit order. Actually, I say quite a bit higher, but it's really not that much higher. But anyway, I'm not expecting a big move here. And it was beautiful. It started to drop, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, 90.50. I think what I did at this point, I really started to think that it was going to drop even further. So I dropped that limit order down to I was looking at the bulge right through here where a bunch of orders were. And you can kind of see that matches up with a lot of where the candles are clustering, if you can kind of see that band right through there. And that's also kind of lined up as well with the SMA here. So it's a little bit lower, but that's pretty decent sized move there. Haven't moved to the stop. All right. I did drop the stop though as soon as it dropped down and started to look like it was shooting up, and I thought, well, I'm not sure about this trade anymore. So I wanted to be really cautious and not lose anything for the day. So I dropped it to break even and got stopped out. It did end up going up here and then dropped some more. I would have been fine, but you just never know. Just trying to play it cautious. So now I've placed another trade here, and you can see the amounts that I'm looking at, the dollar amounts. And actually this is quite a bit lower even than the original trade, which was up here. So it's possible that that's all I will get, which will be not even hardly $100. All right, so I'm getting into a short position here. All right, got in, and it immediately started to drop. I've already made $112 right through here, so I'm very happy. That puts me at like almost $200 profit for the day, and I'm getting really close to that 150,000. So I'm really happy with where I'm sitting right now. Okay, so I'm in a short, and I have a stop really tight here. I've locked in $100 profit, dropped some more. I dropped the stop to $150 profit and got stopped out. So I'm being really conservative, but I made a good trade there. Super happy. But I did miss this move here. And one of the reasons that I got stopped out, I'm going to go back one trade here, is because it's 2 minutes before the opening bell. And I don't like to be in over the opening bell when I'm not 100% certain of what's going on. So, missed this big move here. And this is the news. Thought it was kind of interesting. Somebody is saying that it's going to make it up to $8,100. And right now we're sitting at like $6,800. So that's a huge, huge rise. That's kind of ridiculous in my mind. But it's interesting that somebody's thinking that. Don't want to completely discount that. And again, the news is saying it's slightly higher, which is really interesting because I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a drop. Anyway, all right, so I decided it was going to be finding a bottom right through here. And I put in a stop right there and a limit. I think it'll at least get up to that point. I think this is, decent. This is the 1 minute chart, and we're still not seeing the MACD quite turn. So as soon as I got in, I realized, I got stopped out again pretty quickly. And I realized I just got in too soon. I'm still expecting it to find a bottom and turn. I'm looking for a reversal move here. But I kept trading and kept getting stopped out. So it did not go well. I got back down to basically losing all of my profits for the day here. And then my risk level triggered, which was really disappointing. I had it set for $100 loss, which is pretty tight, and I was doing fine. But now, I've lost $100 instead of making the whatever it was, 200 for the day. So that was very disappointing. All right, I decided that I really was pretty certain that it was going to be finding a bottom and turning up, and I can still see reason to think that just looking at this little screen here, except for the one piece of vital information that I was talking about earlier that I missed. And so I gave myself $100 more to trade with because I was pretty certain that it had found a bottom and was going to be going up, and I wanted to capture that move. So got in, and I got in, as you can see, right at the SMA there, which had just broken through just a little bit, but then it dropped back down again. And man, it stopped me out again. So now I've lost about $200 for the day, which is extremely disappointing because I was so close. And now I'm beginning to wonder if I'm not seeing what I thought I saw in the first place. I thought I was seeing a reversal move here, but we're going back and testing this level again. And I zoomed out to the 5 minute chart here, and I was looking at the volume profile. Very interesting. There's a ton of green orders right through here. So I thought, okay, I haven't actually put this order in, but I've got it ready to place, and I'm thinking, man, I really think the likelihood of it getting up to here is pretty good. I mean, it just looks like it's getting ready for a reversal. Maybe not quite there yet, but I think it's getting close. And look at all these green orders in here. I think I'm not the only one seeing this. So just kind of waiting, and interesting enough, the volume profile started to change right through here. And this is not good. It didn't retest the same level. It dropped lower. So that's really not good. Still haven't placed this order yet. Just kind of thinking about it, watching and waiting to see what's happening. All right. And I got into a long here, but I forgot to take off my $75 risk setting because I gave myself just $75 more. I thought, man, I really don't want to miss this move. I'm pretty sure it's going up. And this trade got stopped out, so I lost another 75. So now I'm at a loss of 275 for the day. All right, so now I've given myself even a little bit more. I can't remember what I did now, but anyway, this is looking like it's flattening out. I'm really seeing it finding a support level right through here, except for this one wick. I think this is going to be going up here soon. So, and I'm expecting a little bit less of a move right through here. I think this is a really good place to get in. So I got in. This is still the ES here, and I'm into a long, and almost immediately got stopped out again. So now I'm down to 400. So now I've lost like $360 for the day, 370, something like that. Not good. Okay, well, here's the thing that I missed. I see that the Asia range has a top here, right? And it tried to break through right before the London Open. And then I guess I wasn't really paying much attention to the rest of the London session here, just the first hour. That might have been when I missed it. But at about 8, I don't even know what time it was, 8-ish, 8:30, something like that. It tried to break through that Asia top again, and it failed. And so we have hit that twice now. And so because of that, the likelihood of it dropping was really, really good. As a matter of fact, I would call that the real move that Wakira Sim that I follow was saying. And I just missed it. And as you can see here, it's actually dropped below the Asia low. So now we've broken that support right through there. And I was almost there. I almost saw it. It's just, I think that, I saw that it was going to be dropping. That was my first prediction for the day. I thought it was going to drop down to this point right through here. But the overall trend for the last 6 days kind of threw my thinking into whack, and made me question that it was going to not do that. So I changed over to the MES, and I just want to take some risk off the table because I don't want to leave my amounts down here at this point, because I think we are getting ready for a reversal move yet. It just looks like it could be finding a bottom. And I think I missed that first big move, but I think that's over now, and I think we're moving on to the second phase of the day. So yeah, I missed it. I missed this big move, but I think we're looking at possible reversal now. I don't know. Okay, so I guess in frustration, I did make another short here. And this is 5 contracts here, so half the amount that I'm making and losing from the one ES. Getting into a short, and of course it started to go back up, stopped me out, so now I've lost a little bit more even. Okay, so went out to the 15-minute chart, and okay, this is looking pretty good. We've got a big green candle. I think that maybe we're on our way to a recovery move. Starting to see just a little bit of that here. I backed it down to just 2 contracts, so I am taking a lot of risk off the table here. Got into a long stop down here, and as soon as I got in, it started to drop back down again. Very disappointing. And then it dropped all the way down there. Now I'm looking at $110 loss more. Got stopped out. So now I'm down to $200 again. It's like I only have a $200 buffer now. This is really, really not good. This is the second time I've been here. But man, it's frustrating. Okay, so this is the thing that I had missed, and I just covered it, but I laid it out right through here. If I had looked, this is the 1-minute chart. I can see that it tested it, and we started to drop from that point, and then it tried to recover, and it hit a ceiling, same place as over here, and then it tested it one more time a little bit lower, and at that point right there, I should have known pretty clearly that it was going to drop and caught that big move. I could have done that. So I got to be really careful that I don't miss that from now on. That Asia range is so interesting. It's been kind of an eye-opening thing that I've heard about lately. That in relation to the London open, and that area right through there. And of course, the New York move is when most of the move happens. So that's kind of critical. So I got to pay attention to that.